Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stream. And as you can see, we got a ton of NBA 2K26 news. We're going to break down the gameplay in the courtside report, and plus a bunch of tweets that I'm sure did not get mentioned in the courtside report. So stick around for all that. And plus, I'm going to throw out a few disclaimers before we jump into it. I have not looked at the tweets. I have not read the courtside report. I'm going to be reading all of it live on stream and everything because I want to give my genuine reaction to all this news. And plus, another disclaimer, I am not sponsored. I am not paid for by Take-Two Interactive or 2K or anything like that. No one is paying me to say positive things, right? I'm going to say my genuine opinions, what I genuinely feel, because at the end of the day, I feel like we all want the same thing, which is a good game. So I'm going to throw a disclaimer out there, not paid for it by 2K or anything like that. I'm giving my genuine reactions because you know how I am. I say things as I see it. Just like how I did in my 2K26 wish list, where I said, I've been playing 2K games since 2K11. I know what 2K is capable of when they actually put effort into a good game. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that 2K has not been hitting as of recently. So 2K26, here we go. Gameplay. So NBA 2K26 gameplay courtside report. Gameplay powered by Pro Play. It spans in 2K26 on Gen 9 platforms with all new dynamic motion, enhanced rhythm shooting, and more. So they're going back to Pro Play. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Because if you don't know, Pro Play has the thing that 2K's been promoting about where it's like Pro Play takes stuff from actual in-game NBA footage, right? Instead of like getting NBA athletes into the 2K studio and doing mocap, they actually take in animations from the games themselves. Pro Play, as you know, is involved in on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. The revolution gameplay technology we introduced on Gen 9 consoles and 2K24 has pushed the authenticity on the court to new heights, which I said earlier, using actual NBA footage. Okay, cool. Pro Play Motion Engine. Pro Play powers all new dynamic motion 2K26 generated from real-world NBA footage that influences on-court movement, offense, defense, and off-ball. This new motion engine is the biggest change to player movement since 2K21. Interesting. So if you don't know, 2K21 is the first game where the PS5 and Xbox Series X was there. Interesting. And further advances the one-to-one realism in gameplay, which took a giant leap forward with the dribble engine introduced in 2K25. Okay. Don't know if I agree with that already because I'm just being honest. I may not be a dribble head, but I think dribbling has been terrible the last few years. So them saying this new dribble engine they brought in 2K25, well, dribbling wasn't good in 2K25. So, okay. New motion learn technology in 2K26 offers more precise, lifelike movement, which is noticeable in the most fundamental elements of the game. Dynamic lower body pose much and adjust the exact position of players' legs and feet are on the fly to remove the skating seen in past games and ensure that players launch, plant, and cut realistically. So basically what they're saying is there is no skating, you're not sliding your feet and everything. You're a lot more grounded when it comes to lateral movement. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. We've heard this time and time and time again. No canned animations. Your player's not going to be sliding left and right on offense and defense, right? You're going to be able to plant your feet. You're going to be able to move where you want to be. Your player's going to be playing exactly how you want to be played. Hey, Specialist, what's going on? And doing good yourself? But anyways, I was saying my point. We've heard this time and time again where it's like players play how exactly you want to play. So we've heard this time and time again, and then we get the game, and guess what? There is still skating. There is still canned animations. You're still getting sucked into vortexes of oh, I'm sliding my feet all the way to the out of bounds line, or I'm sliding all the way to the paint, or I'm sliding all the way to the block. So I'll believe it when I see it. It's the comments saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. At this point, we've been fooled like 6, 7 times about the whole removing skating and sliding. So I'll believe it when I see it. And it's up, Dakota. Together, these systems work in harmony to not only make motion look better than ever before, but also leads to improvements across areas of gameplay to create a fresh and authentic feeling when playing so you can complete the highest level. That doesn't say much. Okay, we move on. Also, Cooper Flag appearance. W. Enhanced rhythm shooting. Okay. This is something that I know a lot of people are very passionate about when it comes to rhythm shooting. Me personally, I'm not passionate about it, but I know other people on the internet are very passionate about it and will argue for me. So, okay. Watching so many of you discover and embrace the rhythm shooting mechanic to improve your shooting has been thrilling and rewarding. Seeing hiding competition has inspired us to push the envelope of rhythm shooting and bolster its strengths. Okay. I already don't know how I feel about that, but okay. In 2K26, rhythm shooting stands beyond mimicking each player's signature shooting animation to giving you full control over every aspect of the shot. This shooting control method still relies on a down-up flick and motion with the shot stick, but now your shot timing and tempo will actually manipulate the shooter's upper body and impact how the shot looks throughout the complete motion by affecting how you move the shot stick. From the start, you'll see and feel the difference between early, late, slow, and fast releases. If you flick up early and rush your shot, you can do quick releases. If you flick up late and slowly, you'll see the effect with a delayed pushing motion and lazier release. This enhanced feature grants more freedom than ever before to decide what type of jump shot you want to take, counter a closeout from a defender by initiating a quick release, intentionally rushing a shot, and still knock it down by executing excellent rhythm shooting tempo. Overall, players take advantage of rhythm shooting will experience more responsive and authentic jump shots that stimulate a true shooting motion. All right. So, off rip, the rhythm shooting doesn't mean much to me. And conveniently, Dakota's here because I know he can speak a lot about this way more than I can because he actually vitalized the rhythm shooting more than anything in 2K25. So, I cannot speak on it from personal experience. So, Dakota, you chime in. You say how the rhythm shooting was in 2K25. But based on personal experience, based on, word of mouth, what I feel and everything, what I've seen, is the rhythm shooting, it has a good idea. It has its place. But the problem is, I feel like it's also misplaced. And what I mean by that is, it's the general problem when it comes to 2K is, do you want arcade or do you want more sim? Right? Because when people say they want arcade, they want someone like, NBA Playgrounds, NBA Street. They want it very fast paced. They want to be able to do these like crazy ankle breakers, these crazy alley oops, like 720s off the backboard. Like they want a fun environment. But obviously, that's not realistic. Versus the sim crowd who wants a more grounded, realistic basketball game. But the problem is, you can't please both crowds. You can't have a fast-paced, arcadey, fun 2K game online, but also have it cater to sim crowd who wants realism. So where's the balance? Where do you put things? And I've said this time and time again, year after year, in my wish lists. And 2K kind of did it with the 2K Playgrounds ranked mode, is you need to have ranked and unranked. A ranked mode caters entirely to the sim crowd, where it's fully based in realism. But then you have like someone like the Park or the Rec, where it's more arcadey. It's way more fast paced. It's way more freeform. You're able to do a lot, and you're able to get away with a lot more. And to me, the rhythm shooting should entirely be a sim ranked mode whether that's in like the playground or whatever it's called, the proving ground. Once again, I can't remember exactly what it's called. That's where the rhythm shooting needs to be, right? Versus, like, let's just say you use square or Ets if you're on Etspots, goes into the more arcadey fun crowd. The enhanced rhythm shooting looks confusing at first, but I think it will cook with after a few days. I personally shot 20% better after using rhythm shooting. Okay. But I don't know if we're also going to dive in, 2K also dive into this as well. But when it comes to shooting, I'm going to say it as I see it. Shooting is something that gets a lot of people, very tight about. And what I mean by that is people are very passionate and believe they have 1,000 IQ play of what they deem as fair in shooting. And myself included, I'm including myself in that camp because I understand my opinions on shooting of how 99 should be a viable option. I should not see a thing from 2K Lab where 94 and 95 shooting has the biggest green window or the highest success rate. It should be 99 by default. 94 and 95 should be great. 96 should be better. 97 should be even better. 98 should be elite. 99 should be perfect. Right. But when it comes to shooting, 2K, as we've seen in previous years, the rhythm shooting could be fixed, could be a lot better. But then day one, week one, people complain about it to 2K, to Mike Wayne, to Ronnie. That, the shooting is terrible, the shooting's too hard. And 2K tones it down in a day one patch and effectively ruined it. Because we've seen that time and time again. The shooting is perfect, but casual fans complain that the shooting is way too hard, so 2K tones it down, makes it way more simple, and then they effectively ruin the balance. To me, very similar to layups, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot further. Give people a reason to do the rhythm shooting mechanic. Because in my 2K25, I didn't really do the rhythm shooting in 2K25 because I felt like there wasn't really an added benefit. You can still just use the simple X button, simply use the square button, and it was still a viable option. Right. Give rhythm shooting way more of a boost. Give people an active incentive. Hey, I'm going the way more challenging route, so I should be rewarded for it. Offense. Develop a robust post game. Oh, God. Post scores are the best build in the game. As always, here we go. Post scores have even more in their bag. With all new signature go-to post shots and become a lethal slasher with custom layups. This is my thing. Custom layups. Because I'm just being honest, having a high layup in the last few years has been absolutely useless. There was no reason to have a build with a high layup. You just simply, for instance, to get 25, you just put your dunk at a 65 or 70, and that was it. That was enough, and that was just the meta. That's what people ran with. There was no reason to have a layup upgraded. So you can have 1,000 different custom layup animations from Curry's like 2K16 where it goes up to the roof. You can have LeBron bully ball, shivving his shoulder into people. You can have Jordan's like Air Jordan airness. Like you can have Elgin Baylor, you can have Bill Russell, you can have Wilt Chamberlain. You can have all these crazy custom layup packages. But very similar to the rhythm shooting, if it's not a viable option, doesn't actually have a purpose, there's no added benefit, then it's just white noise. Right? It is white noise. Very similar to the dribbling. Right? You can have all these like pro play dribbling crossovers, behind the backs, dribble styles. You can have 10,000. But if there's one or two meta, then the rest is just white noise. Like for instance, in 2K20, I want to say 2K24, Jamal Murray was the best behind the back in the game. That's what everyone ran with. But Jamal Murray was not the only behind the back in the game. There was 1,000, but everything else was just white noise because there was just one or two animations that was just statistically superiorly better than everything else. So you can have all these custom layups, but if there's not a reason to put on a high layup and there's a noticeable difference, then it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, what I'm trying to say is, let's just say I make a build with a high layup and I ignore a dunk. Now, I don't know I'm do that because I'm going to make bigs, but let's just say for context, let's just say I'm making a 6'7" small forward slasher. Don't know if I would do that, but I'm just using that as an example. I make a 6'7" slasher, and I intentionally don't do a dunk, but I put on a 99 layup. What is the benefit? What is the pros in doing that? You know, is there like a 7% boost to body up, driving through traffic animations when it comes to custom layups versus a, like, let us say 4 or 5% when it comes to dunks, right? Like, I'm trying to say, like, what is the viable option here? Trying to give a balanced game here to give people a reason. You know what? I'm going to ignore the high layup. I'm going to ignore that because there's no viable reason for it. Give people a reason to care. In 2K24, I used layup timing and it was a GOAT. In 2K25, they ruined layup timing, so I used no timing. Layup timing being forced on, I hope they fix them and they can actually go in now. And yeah, that's another thing I totally forgot to mention. Yeah, layup timing is a thing again. So it's a lot like 2K16, which I remember when 2K first announced you had to time your layups in 2K16, because before in 2K13, 14, 15, all you do was just press the button and it went in automatically. And then we heard in 2K16 that, oh my god, there's a shot meter for layups. You have to time your layups. Oh my god, 2K's falling off and everything. And then people look at 2K16, myself included, as the best 2K ever. So, there you go. Green or miss shot timing will be universal in 2K26, so that each mode has an even playing field. This means on higher difficulties, including most competitive multiplayer modes, only excellent greened shots will go in. However, shot timing windows scale by difficulty and will be less forgiving in competitive modes like Proving Grounds and Pro-Am, but more forgiving in team control modes like My Team, aka Gambling Simulator, aka your autonomy and IQ should be ripped as a human right if you play My Team. Just like Ultimate Team Madden, where you have to adapt to different shot animations. In addition, layup timing is permanently added to separate skill finishers and make those highly contested finishes at the rim even more spectacular and impressive. Ultimately, we want to emphasize... I don't know why I can't talk. All right. It's a lot of reading. I'm sorry. Skill-based competitive gameplay where your actions on the sticks provide more control on the outcomes you see in-game. This renewed focus will be felt across multiple gameplay areas, from shot outcomes to successful blocks and steals, and loose balls and rebounds. So, skill-based, very similar to the, non-skating... This is just white noise, right? We hear this time and time and time again. 2K, going skill-based, rewarding good players, punishing bad players who just got away with the meta, right? So, that last paragraph about skill-based competitive, that means absolutely nothing to me. Then the green or miss system. This is something I was saying earlier with the whole, sim versus arcade crowd. And you can't please both people. The sim crowd wants something like a green or miss, right? But the arcade casuals hate the green or miss system, right? And where I stand on it, the green or miss system can work, but it needs to be balanced. Right? It needs to be balanced. And what I mean by that is, not to repeat myself in my 2K26 wish list of the 99 shooting, but I'm going to bring it up, is when it comes to shooting, it's very difficult to balance out. And what I mean by that is, like I said, there should not be a thing where 2K Lab comes out and says 93 or 94 or 95 is the best attribute rating for shooting. Now, obviously, we'll get way more into that when it comes to the builder news, but 99 should be the best by default. You should notice a difference between having a build with a 99-3 versus a 98, 97, 96-3. Right? There should be a difference. Now, am I saying for a 99 shooter, should you make everything? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I think statistically, the green window should be bigger if you have a 99 versus 98 versus a 93, 94. Your green window should statistically, in the code, be bigger if you have a 98 versus 99 versus a 94. Right? And then where the balance comes in is even if you have a bigger green window, someone can still be better than you and more consistent and have a higher field goal percentage with a 93, 94. Right? That's where the skill gets involved. Right? Someone having a lower rating than you, it's harder, but is better and more consistent than you. They're just a better player, and that should be okay. We're fine with that. I think the 2K community as a whole needs to remove remove these two things from their head. A, you're not going pro for playing online 2K, right? People need to stop being tryhard on the rec or the park. You're not gonna go pro. All right, so get that out of your head. 2, I think people need to get it out their head where it's like, oh, I need to shoot 100% from 3 on 10, 11 shots. I need to have 21 points straight in the park, shooting 10 of 11 or 11 of 12 from 3, right? Because then I can post up on YouTube, I can post up on Instagram, I can have that clickbaity highlight on TikTok and blow up and, be famous. That's not going to happen either. I feel like people need to get those two things out their head. Then in turn, then we can talk about whether the green or miss system is fair. But I don't know. I just hate the whole 2K community when it comes to shooting and how they view things, where it's like, you need to shoot 9 of 10, 10 of 11 from the field, right? Which is insane, right? That should not be normal. And then if you're someone who shoots 5 of 8, 5 of 9 from the field, you're called trash. Which, let's face it, that is realism, right? Steph Curry is not shooting 10 of 11 or 11 of 12 from 3 in a game. He's shooting 4 of 8, 4 of 9, 4 of 10, 40%, right? If we want a green or miss sim basketball game, the 2K community needs to accept that shooting 40, 50% from the field is normal. And in fact, 40% is elite, is amazing. Shooting the 70, 80, 90% tier is arcade, is not realistic. And people need to stop getting through their head that that is realism, because that's not. It's been encouraging to see players incorporate signature go-to shots into their game and leverage real-world crossovers to create separation, like Steph Curry and Halliburton signature dribble step-back jumpers. While we've shown a lot of love to the elusive playstyles of the NBA's greatest backcourt players, this year's system is going to better support the dominant big man we see in the modern NBA. Utilize all new signature go-to post shots by holding the right stick up while in the post, leading to a new host of new moves, including shimmy floaters, baby hooks, and then up and unders. So, like I said earlier, post scores, gonna be the meta, either gonna be the number one best build in the game, or at worst, top 3 best builds in the game, which is, that's how it's been since, 2K18? Post scores has been either the best build or top 3 worst. At worst, when it comes to the best builds in the game. So, post scores. Make a post score, congrats. It's even more meta than it already was. Custom layups. In the past, your signature layup determined all your layup types. But in 2K26, you can mix and match layup styles to draw inspiration from signature packages from around the league. These advanced layup types consist of normal reverse layups, floaters, quick scoops, euro steps, hop steps, and spins. Wreak havoc on the competition by utilizing Steph's graceful layups, James Harden shifty euro, Shea elusive hop steps, and free throws, and Nikola Jokic's nimble spin moves to create a dominant custom package. Explore the bevy of post-move and layup options while customizing your My Player, editing players and rosters. So, interesting. So, normal layups, reverse layups, floater layups, quick scoop layups. So, it's a lot like, the jump shot creator, where you can adjust the base, adjust the release, and the jump shot. Make it your jump shot, make it custom. Or a lot like the dunk style creator, where these are the two-handed dunks you do. These are the one-handed dunks you do. These are the dunks you do under the basket. Defense. Play freely and with physicality in 2K26 using body ups and collisions to antagonize opponents. Okay, defense. This is probably my biggest gripe and biggest complaint from 2K25, and it was my biggest talking point in my wish list, is the interior defense. So okay, now we're cooking. Body ups and collisions. 2K26 uses system-driven technology to generate player-to-player collisions that are more reliable compared to previously scripted motion capture animations, aka canned animations. Coupled with the new dynamic motion, this change improves the freedom of movement for both the dribbler and on-ball defender. Interior defense! Alright. Really, 2K? We already have problems. Interior defense. The biggest complaint I had from 2K25. In my opinion, UFIT's interior defense, 2K25 is already, suddenly, a way better the game than it already was. You give me one sentence. All these other things, you get, multiple paragraphs. Right? Multiple paragraphs when it comes to post shots, green or miss shooting, right? But interior defense, which is one of the biggest gameplay issues from 2K25, you get one sentence. This is already concerning. I don't even know if interior defense is going to be fixed at all, considering there's only one sentence. Interior defense has been redesigned so that it's easier to get strong body bumps in the air when contestant finishes at the rim. Bigs will feel increased physicality when roaming in the paint. And this one sentence tells me absolutely nothing. Because that was not the problem. Like I said, I'm not paid for 2K, so I'm just saying things as I see it. This is concerning. And I hate this. I hate and I'm worried that interior defense is going to be a problem in 2K26. Either it was not addressed at all, or I don't even know how, but somehow interior defense in 2K26 is worse than 2K25. In 2K25, it was already bad. Because let me recap. The reason why interior defense was so bad in 2K25 is it was not based in realism. Right? my center is in the restricted area going up for a layup, right? Going up for a layup. And there's a defender right beside me in the paint. The reason why interior defense was so bad in 2K25 is the center who's guarding me would just have hands to their sides. Hands to their sides, no hands up, no going for the block, no contest, nothing. Like they are just simply standing there like a mannequin. And I take that as an open shot because they're not contesting or anything. They're just simply standing there. Like that is not a contest if you play basketball. Just simply standing there like a mannequin is not contesting. But you go up the shot and you miss it because for some reason 2K interprets them just simply being in proximity next to you, being in the area is enough to make you contest and miss. As an NBA player, you miss an open layup because someone is just standing beside you, which that should never happen. That should never happen. So, all right. I know the 2K community does not touch grass or play outside and go play real basketball, but do me a solid here. And go outside in real life, go out to your real park on the street or your local Lifetime YMCA, whatever. Go get you and your friend and go to a basketball court and do this little experiment. You have the ball in the restricted area right on the basket. Have your friend stand right beside you, arms to their sides, not moving, not doing anything. And you shoot it. Shoot the layup. And you tell me if it was a contest. If it was easy to make the shot. If them just simply standing there was difficult, made you miss. Versus them actually having their hands up, them contesting, them jumping with you and making you alter your shot. Which is harder to make? Them just simply standing there not doing anything, or them having their hands up and making you actually fight for the shot? You tell me which one is harder to make. Because apparently 2K, they're both the same. They're both the same picture. Did you know the new Raiders drops yesterday on Breakers? I don't know what that is. Sorry. Let me know. New rebound time and feedback. In 2K26, a green meter will flash beneath your player's feet to indicate a well-timed rebound shot. So you have to time rebounds? Okay. So that's going to be a very interesting mechanic to learn with my interior center. So I have to green my rebounds. I wonder if that affects my averages, where typically I average like 25, 30 rebounds a game. I wonder if my average goes down because I have to time it. Like I get a yellow release on my rebound, so I don't get the rebound because I get a yellow release instead of a green. Also, what exactly are you timing? Like, are you timing... I'm just looking at this picture. Like, what exactly is a well-timed rebound attempt? Is it like when the ball is at like the highest point of the arc and that's the green? Like, what exactly are you timing when it comes to a rebound? Oh, the ideal time to jump for a rebound is just before the ball makes the final bounce off the rim. And higher rebound attribute ratings will make it easier to nail your timing. Excellent time and significantly boost your chances of securing the board. You talking about facts about shooting? W, thank you. Am I the only one? Am I tripping? Am I getting stupider? Or does this rebound timing not make any sense? The ideal time to jump for a rebound is just before the ball makes the final bounce off the rim. So foul bounce off the rim, and then it's just about to go back into play, go back into possession. It's no longer in an area to make the shot. So it's off the rim completely. How does 2K determine what's a green, what's a yellow, what's a late release, what's an early release? And what if, also, here's another thing. What if you're being botsed out by somebody? Like, I'm being botsed out by somebody. They get a yellow release when it comes to the rebound, versus I'm getting botsed out, but I get the green release. And then even further, let's say they have like Legend Bots Out Beast. They have a lot bigger strength than me. I don't have as much strength. But them botsing me out and have a higher strength, they get a yellow rebound time. Slightly early, slightly late. But I'm getting bots out by them because I don't have as much strength, but I get a green. So how do you get that balance? I don't know. This is very confusing. And I feel like, and yeah, that's all 2K says about the rebound timing. This could work. I just feel like I need to see it in motion while playing it for myself and everything, because obviously I'm going to make 5-6 bigs with rebounding as always. I need to see this in action to really determine whether this works or not. Because at this present moment, I am confused. Control. Dictate every facet of the game with new and revamped controls for a more intuitive, deliberate, and free-flowing experience. With this, overall game speed in 2K26 is now sped up to reward players with faster decision-making who can read the court, anticipate their opponent, and react quicker. This tells me absolutely nothing. And it shouldn't. First of all, like we've said before, new and revamped controls, more intuitive, deliberate, and free-flowing experience. Play how you want to play. You're not stuck into canned animations. Your players play exactly how you want to play. That's just marketing speak. Because we heard this time and time again. So that first sentence means absolutely nothing. That's just marketing. And then the second part, the overall game speed is sped up, which I like. This gets into speeding up the game and getting way more of the arcade crowd pleased versus the sim crowd. The sim crowd wants everything slowed down because they want realism. Speeding up the game pleases the arcade crowd, which is great and ideal. I think the game needs to be sped up. Now here's the issue though. How long does this last? How long does speeding up the game last? Because no one's a good community. I don't know if it was 2K22, 23, 24. It was some recent PS5 Xbox Series X game where 2K promoted the game was sped up, and then the 2K players complained that, oh, it was too fast. Oh, slow the game down. Oh, it's ridiculously sped up so it's unresponsive. The 2K players complained about it. 2K in turn, in a day one patch, toned it down, and then effectively ruined it. They made the game go at a snail's pace, and everything was very lethargic, very slow. It felt like everyone was, weighted down by like cement bricks and on the gravity of Jupiter. And it ruined the game effectively. So I will see. I'm putting a pin in this for speeding up the game. Put a pin in this. How long does this last? Versus the community complaining and inevitably ruining it. Quick Protect. Ball handlers can now tap the left trigger to initiate quick protect movements to shield the ball and evade steals. If you see a defender reaching for a steal and react quickly, you can counter it. This balances the steal system by introducing more skill-based outcomes. You can also put defenders in a compromising position by using Quick Protect while driving the rim. Decelerate and pin your opponent against your hip trap and defender jail. Some of the craftiest ball handlers like Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, and Trae Young all sell this, making them incredibly difficult to guard. Does this mean So when it comes to putting defenders in compromised positions, decelerating, pinning your opponent against your hip to trap them. So does this mean ankle breakers are more common? Because as it stands right now, in 2K25, ankle breakers were not a thing, were not common. In fact, I remember when 2K25 first came out, people were preaching at 2K to increase the probability of ankle breakers. 2K said in a patch, they made ankle breakers more viable and increased it, but it still didn't really affect or change that much. So does this mean finally ankle breakers are viable? If you're doing tween, hezzy, Jimbo, right, and you actually break down your defender, do you get rewarded with an ankle breaker? Because in 2K25, it never happened. So that's my question. When it comes to increased dribbling, are ankle breakers now a viable option? 2K doesn't say it, and honestly, I don't think we'll ever know until we get our hands on the game and we see for ourselves. No dip catch and shoots. Hold the left trigger when receiving a pass while standing square up. Catch the ball high and seamlessly transition directly into your shooting motion to get the shot quickly. Knock down shots like Klay Thompson and Ray Allen as defenders race to close up before your release. Off rip, I'm going to be using this a lot because when it comes to me making a shooter, I'm not someone who makes a dribbler. I'm someone who stands in the corner, space the floor, and is catch and shoot. That is my role, and I fit it well. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it 2K24 where they had something similar to this? Where either you held the left trigger or right trigger, and it caused you to stand still right in the corner, and then you're way more ready for the shot. Wasn't that a thing? Chat, remind me. This is a thing from 2K24 where you either held the left trigger or right trigger, stand in the corner, and it caused your guy to be way more prepared for the shot. Standing, bent knees, his hands are like this, he's ready for the ball, he's ready for the catch, he's ready for the shot, right? It allowed you to shoot the ball a lot quicker because your player was a lot more ready for the shot. Versus if you didn't hold the trigger, your guy would stumble for a second, catch the ball, and then he would go up for the shot. I want to say it's a something from 2K24. And I don't remember if it was left trigger or something, but I remember this is a thing that happened. Chat, you're able to remind me if it was left trigger, right trigger, but I remember this was promoted 2K24. Because I used it. Revamp signature size ups. Signature size up controls have been improved for a more intuitive experience. Now you can rock the Pro Stick back and forth, left and right, or repeatedly flick the Pro Stick to execute 2 different size up combinations. These size ups will help create separation for your defender while retaining the release of look by pro play. Don't think I read any of that right. Very similar, like I said earlier, does this mean ankle breakers are a viable option? Because they have not been a viable option. Ankle breakers have been very rare to the point where they are useless. Also, repeatedly flick the Pro Stick up. I don't want to see spamming, right? I don't want to see a thing. This is where the adrenaline bars kicked in a couple years ago, and it was great for that purpose, right? I don't want to see, these 13, 14-year-old TikTokers, just, hold on, where's my controller? Oh, here it is. I don't want to see them go with the controller and then go like this. Dribbling clock out for 20 seconds going like this. And basically teleporting, right? I don't want to see that. So make it balanced. We should not see a thing where it's just, all right, half court set. All right, let's just dribble the clock out for 30 seconds by doing these crazy dribble moves. Slow motion Euro steps. After initiating Euro step, you can hold the left trigger at any point to deliberately decelerate mid-move to throw defenders off and create space. War passes. Now have a dedicated control by double tapping circle. This expands the toolkit for playmakers to determine whether you want to warp pass, ensures you aren't throwing the ball straight into the back of the defender. Okay. Alley-oops. Catching an alley-oop now requires more skill. Great for people like me who hate the alley-oop system and wishes it went back to the 2K14, 15, 16 mode where it was just automatic. Great. Fantastic. Once the pass is thrown, the finish button for the receiver will be randomized on one of the 4 face buttons instead of always being squarettes. Great. So, not only did I hate the alley-oop system where you had to time the alley-oop button by pressing square, but nowadays, not only do you have to time the alley-oop, but it can be square this time, right? For like 3 times, it could be square. But then very next time, you had square the last 3 times, now it's triangle. Now it's circle. Now it's back to square. Interesting. Which is very annoying. Very annoying. And I do not like that at all. I hate the alley-oop system already, and this makes me even more hate it. But, alright, it's in the game. What can you do? Send screens. Screens now have control which way you want to face. Tapping the left stick slightly left or right from the direction you're currently screening will turn your player 45 degrees. And tapping the left stick in the opposite direction will turn your player 180 degrees. This will help IQ bigs who can help get your ball defenders open by staying out. Tap the left stick slightly left or right. Okay, interesting. Now, I'm just saying from personal experience, when it comes to setting screens, it was difficult for me to have placement. And what I mean by that is when I would, tap the left stick, slightly left or slightly right, it would be because, like, I'm trying to visualize for a second. Damn, I don't have anything to visualize. Let's just say this, I don't know. All right, let's say this is the dribbler, okay? This is one of my guard teammates, whether it's Zach, Dakota, whoever. And this is me, the ball, okay? So I'm staying here because they're calling for a screen. And they're here. I hope you can see this demonstration. I hope you can see it. All right. So they're staying here, and I'm here. Right, I'm off to the side like here. But they want me to be, on the other side of the screen. Or they want me to be closer to them on the right side. So I tap the right stick, but then I go from like here to like right in front of them. Then I have to tap the right stick again to be right beside here or on the other side. But at that point, we've already wasted so much time where the screen's not even useful anymore. So I hope screaming is way more viable. And that was probably the worst demonstration ever, so I apologize on that. Screen placement has always been bad, especially if you're not screening the ball handler, you aren't the center. The game doesn't understand why or who you're trying to screen, so it needs to be a manual process like this to work. Also true. AI coaching. This is like AI my career coaching. This means absolutely nothing, so we're going to skip all this. My player freelance, AI teammates. This doesn't matter about AI my player because let's face it, we go on the my player, put in a Hall of Fame difficulty, do alley-oops, and then we get our badges and we never touch my career again. So that means absolutely nothing. Coming next. Gameplay 2K26 tend to feel smoother, faster, more seamless than ever before. The next courts our board will dive into this year's presentation enhancements and how they complex gameplay for all-encompassing authentic immersion. Presentation means stuff like UI, music, stuff like that, which means absolutely nothing. Because you can have the best looking game, but if it's not fun to play, then it doesn't matter. And then it talks about pre-order the game. Okay, so there we go. But that is not all we have, because we also have a bunch of tweets to dive into. So it's not the end of the stream yet, so don't leave yet. All right, so let's dive into the tweets. First actual 2K26 gameplay. So it talks about skating and sliding should be gone, but once again, like we said earlier in the courtside report, I'll believe it when I see it, because how many times have we heard that? First, look at the shot meter. It's very hard to see, but we know in 2K26 they actually have the like green icon in the shot meter. Because you remember in 2K25, as someone who did use the shot meter, there was no like green window. Like I would use like the arrow, for instance, and your job was just to fill the arrow, fill the bar, but it was hard to tell, like, is this slightly early? Is this green? Is it slightly late? There was no like green indicator. I would just fill the arrow. I'm like, I think this is timed well, but then it would say like slightly late or it'd be green. So them actually having a green icon is great. So W. As you can see, first look at the layup packages, which we showed about earlier in the courtside report. New shot meter gives 2K20 vibes. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. You can see the little green little space of the shot meter. So there's actually a time cue, a visual cue. It's not just fill the meter and you're like, I think this is green, or it's just slightly early. So W. 2K16 versus 2K26. All right. I see what you're doing, but can we just stop that? Seriously. Can we just stop that whole like narrative where it's like, oh, here's the graphics from 2K14, 2K15. Look how the lighting, look how everything works. Then 2K26 it looks ugly. Like, can we just stop that? And this comes from someone who has been preaching nonstop that they want the 2K14, 15, 16 gameplay back. Even I'm saying, all right, can we just stop that? All right, so that's it for 2K Intel. Let's go to 2K's actual Twitter. And there's not much of anything. Okay, cool. That's some fun. So, overall, what did I think about the courtside report, the news for gameplay and everything? Um, I'm still concerned about interior defense, if it's fixed at all, if they didn't touch it. Obviously, take this with a huge grain of salt, because, you know, we don't know if it's marketing speak or they actually fixed it or touched on it. All we have to go off of is words on a screen, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But them only having one sentence for the interior defense, not saying anything, and B, the stuff they did say wasn't even the core issue of why interior defense was so bad in 2K25. I have concerns. I don't know if interior defense is going to be fixed in 2K26. And if so, That's already negative. That's already bad for me. Um, the Grain and Miss system, that's there to stay. So be it. Great. All I want is just a balanced system. I think having a shot meter that actually shows the green cue is great, is a good step in the right direction. Instead of just filling the meter being like, the game decides to give you a green, or the game decides to give you a slightly early. So actually having a target point is great. The alley-oop system, I already hated it, and I hate it even more now because of the randomization. But what are you gonna do? And the rest with, no skating, no sliding. Your player moves how you want to play and everything. It's all about realism. I don't buy into that hype because to me that's just marketing because we see this time and time and time and time again. 2K promotes it's the most realism accurate basketball game out there, and then we get the game and it's anything but that. So it's just marketing. And then as far as the rebound time stuff goes, interesting. New mechanic, new system. I can't say on it, unfortunately, whether I like it or not because they didn't really say much. I already have my questions, concerns about it, but it's one of those things where it's like, I cannot definitively say whether it's good or bad until I get my hands on the game and definitively feel it for myself, whether it's good or not. So, as far as my hypeness goes for 2K26, now that we are just about, it's July 31st, and 2K comes out, like August 26th or 27th or 28th or something. So we're just under a month away from 2K26. I am cautiously optimistic about 2K. I'm cautiously optimistic. Obviously, I'm going to buy the game and stream it, as always. I know, people hate on 2K, but then buy it every year. I know. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not given to the hype train yet because 2K still hasn't cooked yet. They still haven't said anything yet. I need them to actually cook. So we'll see how it goes and everything. We'll see what 2K26 is all about. And one thing I am more excited, more looking forward to anything is the builder. Because I'm not sure what 2K is going to do about the builder. Because as far as the builder goes, as much, negatives and as much as I'm on 2K for being a money-making, greedy machine company, they don't care. The builder is the one thing I will give them slack for, and I will give them their praise. I will give them the praise when it comes to the builder. Because the 2K community is abysmal, and they are their own worst enemy. Because I'm sure I'm going to say this when we actually get the builder news, but just as a tease as we're ending things right now, the 2K community does not know what they want. And when it comes to the builder, that is especially true. People want, the dual archetype system back. People want the pie chart builders back, where it's more restrictive, where people fit into a certain mold, certain category, right? People want that. But then people complain that it's restrictive. They want to make a freeform build. They want to make a sits 8 LeBron playmaking superstar build. They want to make a sits 10, sits 11 KD build. They want to make these superstar builds. So 2K gives them a freeform builder to make those superstar builds. Then people complain that it's not restrictive at all. It's not competitive at all, right? So it's like, I can't blame 2K for the builder being bad because at the end of the day, you can't please anyone. You can't have a restrictive archetype pie chart builder where it's restrictive and it's balanced while also having a freeform superstar build. That's not possible. So as much slack for 2K as I give them, and honestly it's deserved and warranted, comes from a good place because I've seen them make good games. So I know what they're capable of. and they're just not doing it. That's where it comes from. The builder is one thing I will give them slack for, where it's like, you know what? I'm going to give 2K a pass here. So, but let me know your thoughts. What do you think about 2K26? Are you excited for it? What did the gameplay news tell you and everything? Are you hyped about it? Because right now, I would say I'm 6.5 out of 10. Just cautiously optimistic. Not hyped about it. I need to be told more.